Good morning, everyone. You know what today is? It's February 14th, that special day of love, chocolates, flowers, candy, being with that special someone that you love. And if you're single, still you get to admire the people who mean the most in your life. And in some cases, maybe it's a friend, a family member, a loved one, an animal, or even if it's a cute little stuffy. Today is the day to celebrate about love. So I thought I would take a break from eBay because I wanted to talk about some Valentine's Day. Smells so good. Some Valentine's Day tips, tricks, little things to know, and some of my funny stories that occurred on Valentine's Day throughout the years in retail. Maybe some of these will give you some ideas, maybe they won't. But this is Melanie from Lightbeam's Treasures and Curiosities, and if you love my series of educational videos with retail sale, reselling, retail arbitrage, if you love my funny stories of working in the life of retail, self-employed, interesting customers that I come into contact with, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button below, give me some thumbs up, give me some comments, give me some love, and let's build our business together. Let's work together and have some fun. So, I remember when I was working in retail, I had this guy. He was going up and down the aisles looking at lipsticks. And he's literally going crazy. He's picking up all the packages, reading the packages, not knowing what to do. So, of course, I go up to him and say, "Hi, sir, is there something I may help you with?" And he has this dilemma on his face, and he says, "I just don't know what to do." And I says, "All right, what do you need help with?" He says, "My wife convinced me that for Valentine's Day, she wants to do a special photo shoot." Thinking, oh, that's sweet. He says, she wants me to put lipstick on and kiss her all over her naked body and take pictures. So this way she has kiss marks all over her body. And I have to tell you, I beamed. I'm like, that is so sweet. I says, and she could do the same thing too. She could put kisses all over your body. And he thought about that for a minute. I'm like, it'll be sweet. The two of you would love it. I says, so what's the problem? He says, I don't know what color lipstick to get. So the first thing I says is, does your wife have pale skin? Is she really pale like me, or is she darker? And he said, no, she's pale like you. I says, all right. And I looked in his hand, and he had all the really, really expensive Color Stay lipsticks. And I'm like, sir, you don't want this. I says, I'll be honest with you. For what you want to do, you want to buy the cheap crap. You really do. You don't want to spend money. I says, these lipsticks are specifically designed not to come off. In other words, if you put this on, they'll make sure that if you're drinking coffee or drinking, you won't have any lip stains on, and it'll be impossible to. I says, what you want the cheap crap. So I showed him a way to like the Wet n Wild stuff, the stuff that's only $1, the NYC, the dollar stuff. I says, go for the dollar stuff. It'll go on very, very greasy on your lips, and it would be absolutely perfect to make a whole bunch of kiss, 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 kiss throughout your body. And he's like, thank you so much. And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, have a happy Valentine's Day and enjoy it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's so sweet. And I mean, sometimes hubbies are good, and the hubbies, boyfriends, whatever, your significant other. I mean, it doesn't always have to be male, female. It could be two males, two females, whatever. But your significant other, when they do sweet things like that, is so adorable. And then I worked in balloon industry for a very long time. I used to do all kinds of bouquets and parties and extravagant events. The problem was people were not too educated when it comes to balloons, which I understand. But Valentine's Day is a big balloon day. I mean, we would sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of balloons. All we would do is balloons, balloons, balloons. Anyway, so I want to talk about a little bit about balloons because I think this is funny and it also gives you some little educational. The first thing about balloons is if it's raining, water weighs more than helium. I can't tell you how many times I would have to tell the customers, make sure you dry the balloons or put the balloons in a garbage bag before you bring them out to the car. And they look at me and they're like, why? I says, because the rain is going to make the balloon sink. You're going to need to wipe the water droplets off the balloons. And people just could not understand or grasp that concept until they flat out saw that when they brought the balloons outside, they're now on the floor and they're dragging balloons because the water weighs more than helium. In addition to that, here's a scientific little education. Helium is a gas. And do you remember back in grade school where they talked about how things expand and contract? Well, on cold days, helium is going to contract, which means your balloon is going to shrivel up. It's not that there's a hole in it. It's not that it's losing helium. Because then, guess what happens? You walk into a room, it magically uncrinkles and reinflates. Wow, it's the power of science. I can't tell you how many times I've had people leave with the balloons in hand. They would go outside, and I even told them it. I warned them. I says, just bear in mind that they will, don't leave them in the car, that they will shrink a little bit, but they'll really reinflate. I think they didn't understand what I was talking about. But they would literally walk outside with the balloons in hands. Balloons would go crinkle, 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 crinkle. Come back in angry, my balloons. And then all of a sudden it's like crinkle, 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 crinkle. And they would stare at it, like confused, like how is that possible? So once again, they would go outside, crinkle, 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 get all angry, come in, crinkle, 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 crinkle. So yes, when buying balloons, use your judgment that on a cold day, they are going to shrink. And that goes true for a very hot day. If it's like 100 degrees outside, and if they overinflate the balloons, you better be careful because when you go outside, that's for latex, not necessarily the mild, but you'll see it. And as far as the types of balloons, latex balloons are only going to last about 7 to 11 hours, and they're going to fall and be dead, and there's no more helium. Whereas Mylar, those are the really shiny ones with all the characters and the pretty ones, which are a much better deal. Those things will be floating up for weeks on end. In fact, I want to say those things are like an alien pod because even though they completely deflate with no helium, for some reason, they are going to clench up to the ceiling and stick to the ceiling. There won't be any air in them. They just don't fall. So I guess that's the whole static electricity or whatever it is, but they will clutch onto the ceiling and you will have a balloon up in the corner that's crinkled for weeks on end. So that's a good little experiment to try if you want to see what to do with the balloons. The next thing is, guys, women love flowers. But not every woman loves flowers. I mean, me personally, I enjoy plants as opposed to flowers because what ends up happening with the flowers wither and die, whereas a plant ends up thriving and you can water it but be sure that your girl is not allergic to plants or flowers. Me personally, I learned a lesson long ago in my life that I am allergic to the white baby's breath in roses. Not allergic to the roses, it's only the baby's breath, which is kind of strange because supposedly they're hypoallergenic. But when it comes to baby's breath, I get so sick. I start sneezing, I start coughing, my eyes literally will tear up and I will cry simply from those white flowers, which is bad because they're in roses, they're in carnations, they're in all sorts of things. I remember years on end, I actually went to a job interview that when I walked in, I started breaking out and crying because she had wall-to-wall roses and baby's breath and carnations, and I had to literally run out of the interview. And of course I didn't get the job because I literally was dying and hacking. but it wasn't a good thing at all. Anyway, so be sure that your wife, your significant other, is not allergic to flowers. That also goes with chocolates. Read the ingredients. If they're allergic to nuts, do not get the mixed ones with nuts. If they are on a special diet, particularly now that a lot of people have made New Year's resolutions, try not to destroy their diet by giving them what they can't have. If they're a vegan, make sure that it's vegan ingredients. So be very careful. Read those labels. Think before you actually indulge. I mean, while everybody loves chocolate and candy, sometimes it's not the most appropriate thing to get. So, I wanted to just share with you a couple of things. And like I said, this is a beautiful holiday. I mean, get the candles out, get the oils out, take a bath, put some bath oils in, some bath bombs, and just have a good time. Because this is the time to celebrate with loved ones. I mean, right now, I'll be honest, I can't wait for my husband to wake up so that maybe he can remember what today is, because I think he didn't realize. Normally, the funny story, normally I go to sleep around 9, 10 o'clock. I go to sleep early. I always wake up really, really early. I mean, I'm up like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning without a problem. But for some reason, I guess I was too hyper last night. I couldn't sleep. I didn't go to bed until 1 a.m. last night, or 1 a.m. this morning, I should say. And when it hit midnight, and after midnight, he ends up coming in the room, taking a look at me, because he's the opposite of me. He ends up sleeping really late. I sleep, whatever. But he comes in, and he's checking on me, tucking me in, doing the whole sweet hubby thing. And I look at him and I say, it's after midnight. You know what today is? And you know what he does? He looks at me, he's like, yes, it's time for you to go to sleep. And he tucks me in and puts the blanket over me. So I'm like, all right, I know. He's not realizing it, but that's okay, because once he wakes up and once he looks at his Facebook feed with everybody flooding the feed with Happy Valentine's Day, I think he'll realize the slight goof, the little faux pas that he did last night, where I said, it's after midnight, you know what time it is. No, it was not time for me to go to sleep. But, honey, I love you. It's okay. Anyway, so with that, everyone, I want to wish you a very happy Valentine's Day. If you don't necessarily have a significant other, this is a time to celebrate with your friends, your family, your pets. I mean, there's so many people out there. Give some loving to everybody and treat each day as if it's your last, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring, and you're never going to know who the love you have in your life. So I want to give a very special shout out to my mom. I love her dearly. She's a workaholic. I want to wish her a happy Valentine's Day. I also want to wish a very happy Valentine's Day to my family out there as well. My husband, on the other hand, will take care of him when he wakes up. So with that, you know what to do, everyone. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll be doing more and more videos. And with that, happy Valentine's Day.